My upcoming album. Poe, actually, a lot of people don't realize that Poe was actually a rapper in addition to being a short story writer, essay writer, poet. And I found this book and it had a hidden chapter. It was called the Forgotten Lore chapter. And he wrote this rap. It's crazy. So this is the Black Cat. This is the debut of it. That story is scary, dude.
I hung that cat, I hung that cat, I hung that cat, what's wrong with that? I hung that cat.
Don't hang cats, it's not good.
I hung that cat and it came right back, and it came right back, and it came right back.
Hung that cat, I hung that cat, I hung that cat, what's wrong with that? I hung that cat, I hung that cat, I hung that cat, and it came right back, and it came right. I hung that cat, I hung that cat, what's wrong with that? I hung that cat, I hung that cat. Here we go.
I hung that cat and it came right.
Used to love all creatures, now the silence talks. Pluto's eye still glows as he rots behind the clocks. Yeah, I had peace once and a home full of light, till the bottle bit deeper every single night. My wife and love turned brittle, rage got quick, my mind cracked open like an old red brick. That cat, my friend sleeping curled up, mama drink till my hand learned rage and I forgot how to think. Bottle to my lip and the devil in bloom. Violence grew legs and it walked through the room. Pluto stared at me with an eye too wide, like it knew my shame and where he tried to hide. Yeah, that cunning kitty knew, his eyes too wise, followed me room to room like he saw through the lies. I stabbed him in the eye, then I cut him again, hung his body like my guilt up in the cellar den. I hung that cat, I hung that cat, I hung that cat, what's wrong with that? I hung that cat, I hung that cat, I hung that cat, and he came right back. I hung that cat, I hung that cat, I hung that cat, what's wrong with that? I hung that cat.
I hung that cat.
It didn't go well for me. Here's what happened.
And it came right back.
Berserk, possessed, entirely profane. He twitched in the shadows, bleeding like a severed vein. Yeah, I hung that cat, but it choked me back. One rope, two ghosts in the darkness as he laughed. That's when my house burned down, and the guilt ran deep, because flames wrote poems no soul should have to see. But there on the brick where the smoke still wept, the shape was in the soot where that feline slept. The insurance paid out, find a new spot by Godzilla, but the new house had a tiny fella working like Willow, blind in one eye. He stared just the same. The black cat came back, no tag, no name. I fed it out of guilt, but the fear fed me. Grew like mycelium through a fallen tree. Each step, each slumber, each sorrow sigh. A thread pulled taut beneath the cord, drawn nigh. My wife saw me snap, knew what was coming next. She screamed as the blade dug deep into her neck. The cat cried too, both trapped in that room. One blow for the guilt, one sealed in her tomb. Yeah, the rage took the wheel as I swung that axe and buried the truth beneath the floorboard cracks. And so I bricked her up behind the wall with that mortar of madness. I plastered my own soul, but sin don't sleep when the guilty still cries, and that cat sang out like a warlock's cry. The cops heard the kitty first, soft then louder, the sound from the wall behind the dust and the powder. They tore through the bricks, cold silence was blown, and there she stood, blast her skin like stone. But no one expected what sat on her dome, perched on her skull. My feline friend had come home. I hung that cat, I hung that cat, I hung that cat, what's wrong with that? I hung that cat, I hung that cat, I hung that cat, and it came right back. I hung that cat, I hung that cat, I hung that cat, what's wrong with that? I hung that cat.
I hung that cat, I hung that cat, and it came right back.
9 lives cry from the smoke and flame. 9 lives cry and they call my name. 9 lives cry, can't drown in gin. 9 lives cry, they expose my sin. 9 lives scream from behind that stone. 9 lives scream, but I'm not alone. 9 lives scream, the cops all stay. 9 lives screamed and I'm betrayed. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. That's the first time I ever did that song. Thank you. And thanks to Poe for writing it. I was reading verbatim from his book. Okay, we got time for, I think we